Alright, grade 9s. I'm just going to go over how to solve algebraic equations with fractions. And I'm going to show this same question 3 different ways. So we have 2 over 3. Why am I showing it 3 different ways? Because there's lots of ways. And it's good to see them all. So variety, you know. So here's the equation. You have 2/3 on the outside of brackets. Inside the brackets, 6x plus 5 equals 4 over 5. And then in brackets beside it, 20x minus 7. Now, the first way I'm going to show you is removing the fraction by finding the lowest common denominator, cross-canceling, and then multiplying. Don't look at the example equation there, but just the blue part. That's what I'm going to do first. So the lowest common denominator for the fractions that I'm looking over here at, so I have 3 and I have 5. Lowest common denominator between the two is 15. So I'm going to do the work for the fraction just on the side so that I can keep the equation just the equation. Now I'm just taking my old example and I'm just kind of running through the steps. So this is how you should be using your notes too. So I put these fractions from the equation over here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to times this fraction by 15. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So it'll be 5 times 2. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And that be times by 4. So you're going to get 10 up here. You're going to get 12 down here. I'll rewrite the equation with these new numbers instead of the fractions. Next step is distributive property. So make sure it's 10 times 6x, 10 times 5, 12 times 20x, 12 times negative 7. So you'll get 60x plus 50 equals 12 times 20x, 240x minus 84. Next is to do inverse operation. I'm going to get this variable on the left side. So the opposite of add is subtract. So I'm going to subtract 240 from this side. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. You will get negative 180x over here plus 50 equals, that cancels out. You're just left with negative 84. Inverse operation again. We're going to bring this constant to the other side. Opposite of add, still subtract. Subtract 50 from both sides. These cancel out, so you're left with negative 180x over here. And then on this side, negative 84 minus 50 becomes a bigger negative. Negative plus a negative is a bigger negative. This is negative 134. Isolate x, opposite of multiply is divide. So we'll divide by negative 180, divide by negative 180. Your negative 180s cancel out. You're left with x equals negative divided by a negative. That's a positive. And you're going to get 134 over 180. Because the fraction's kind of funny, we can reduce it a little bit. We can divide the top and the bottom by 2. And so we're left with x equals 67 over 90. So this is how you solve with the canceling fraction way. Let's go on to another way. So same equation. I'm going to call this the decimal way. And instead of dealing with these fractions at all, I'm going to just change the fractions into decimals. So I'm going to show this through a calculator. So if you have 2 divided by 3, just punch it into your calculator. Sorry, can't see that so good. You're going to get 0.6 repeating. So here's the tricky part with making it into a decimal. You're not going to get an exact answer. You're going to get close, but not exact. But it is a way. So let's do it. So we'll change 2 over 3 into 0.6 repeating. So it's 0.67. We're just going to leave it like that. Next, 4 out of 5, 0.8. Rewrite the rest of the equation. Next step, distributive property, same as above. So 0.67 times that, times that, times that. Again, I will need to use a calculator. So I'm going to do 0.67 times 6, 4.02. 5 times 0.67 plus 3.35. Oh man, I didn't give myself enough space. Equals 16x minus 5.6. Solve the same way as above. I'm going to get rid of this 6x. It's adding, inverse is minus, so minus 6x minus 6x. Sorry, I should have said minus 16x. You're going to get negative 11.98x plus 3.35. This cancels out, left with negative 5.6. Try and get rid of this. So we'll do the inverse. The inverse of adding is subtracting. So subtract 3.35, subtract 3.35. You'll get 1198 negative x. And those cancel out. Equals, man, I really don't like how I didn't line up my equal sign. And you'll get on this side negative 8.95. The final step, get x by itself. Right now, it's being multiplied. Opposite of multiply. Yep. Divide. Divide this by 1198. So negative 1198. Divide this by negative 1198. And you will find that cancels out. X equals, so you put it into your calculator, 895 divided by 1198, 0.747. Is that the same as what we got above? Let's just double check. 67 divided by 90, 0.74444, repeating. Sorry, you couldn't see any of that I was punching in. But yeah, because of the errors with the repeating decimals right from the get-go, you can say, yeah, that's pretty close. The last way I'm going to show you is the fraction way. You don't change anything about it. You keep the fractions as they are, and you work with them the entire solving. I anticipate that it's going to take quite a bit of room, so I'm not going to put these little notes on the side, but you should be fine. All right, so if we're keeping everything the same, keep the fractions as they are, the first step is to distribute the property. All right, so for this, you get 2 times 6x, or 2/3 times 6x, 12x over 3, 10 over 3. This one, 80x over 5. This one, 28 over 5. All right. Sometimes you'll look at this, you'll be like, I should just keep the fractions as they are. But in this case, we're not. We are going to make them, we're going to try and reduce them. So this is 12 and this is 3. So I can divide the top and the bottom by 3 to reduce it. So then I would get 4x. That's much more manageable. 10 over 3, can't reduce that, so that will stay. Here I can reduce it by dividing the top and the bottom by 5. And 80 divided by 5 is 16x. And then it's over 1, or just 16x. And then minus 28 over 5. Nothing I can reduce there. I'm going to try and get rid of my 16x first. I'm going to try and move it to the left. Same as I've been doing all along. Well, it's a little bit different, but same as I did up here for sure. So I'll subtract 16x, same on this side, equals negative 12x plus 10 over 3 equals, that cancels out, left with negative 28 over 5. Next step, I'm trying to get rid of this whole fraction here. So right now it's being added, so I will subtract 10 over 3. I will subtract 10 over 3, just like that. The way it's stacked like that, that's not a very good way to solve it, but let me leave it like that for just a second. This cancels out, so I'm just left with negative 12x. This one, I'm going to rewrite it so I can visualize it a little bit better. I have negative 28 over 5 minus 10 over 3. Looking at my denominators right now, I can't do this. I can't do negative 28 over 5 and minus 10 over 3. I need a lowest common denominator first. Just like this question where we canceled out the fractions. The lowest common denominator, sorry, couldn't say that, is 15. All right, so to make this 15, so my goal is to make them both out of 15. I need to multiply this by 3, top and bottom, same number. This one by 5, top and bottom, same number. Wow, that looks like a 16. It should be a 15. All right, and I will get 28 times 3, which is negative 84, and 10 times 5, negative 50. I'm going to, where should I put this? I'm going to bring it up here. So I just rewrote that mess down there. At the top here, a negative and a negative. When you're adding two negatives together, you're going to get a bigger negative. So that's going to equal negative 134 over 15. Oops. Wow. And this side over here is negative 12x. The next step, the inverse of multiply. So I'm going to divide this by negative 12. I'm going to divide this by negative 12. Again, looks messy, but bear with it. Those cancel out. I'm going to be left with x equals negative 134 over 15 divided by negative 12 is the same as multiplying by 1 over 12. Make sure you keep that negative. Now I can multiply it. Negative times a negative, positive 134. 15 times 12, 180. Huh, that looks familiar. 134 over 180. Reduce that fraction. Divide the top and the bottom by 2. And I'm going to get the same fraction as above. X equals 67 over 90. All right. Those are the 3 ways to solve the same fraction question. So whichever way you want to use, go for it. Just make sure you're always doing the inverse operations, distributing the property properly, and verifying after you have solved. Keep asking questions, guys, and I can make more videos.